Imagine a world where everything you've ever done, every choice you've ever made, is about to be revealed. A world where your entire life is judged not by your wealth, your power, or your fame, but by something far more profound. This isn't just a story, it's a look into the heart of what it means to be truly human. Picture a vast, sun-drenched field under an endless sky. A majestic figure, a king of immense authority and light, sits upon a glorious throne. All the people from all the nations, from every corner of history, are gathered before him. A silence falls, so deep you can hear your own heartbeat. The air is thick with anticipation and a touch of fear. This is the moment of final judgment. The king begins a great separation. With a simple gesture, he divides the massive crowd into two distinct groups, just as a shepherd separates his sheep from his goats. One group is placed on his right side, the side of honor. The other is moved to his left. No one understands the criteria. People look at their neighbors, then at the king, their faces a mix of confusion and hope. What could possibly be the reason for this divide? Then, the king turns to the group on his right, his face glowing with a warm, approving smile. He speaks, his voice echoing with love and authority. "Come, you who are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world." The people on the right are stunned. They look at each other, bewildered. What did they do to deserve such an incredible reward? The king continues, "For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." A wave of confusion ripples through the crowd on the right. An elderly man, his face etched with sincerity, steps forward. He speaks for everyone when he asks, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" They were genuinely perplexed. They had no memory of ever meeting a king, let alone helping him in his time of need. They were simple people, farmers, craftsmen, mothers, fathers. They just lived their lives, day by day, trying to be decent. They searched their memories, but found no grand moment of serving royalty. The king looks at them with eyes full of compassion, and his next words are the twist that changes everything. He replies, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." A collective gasp sweeps through the crowd. It wasn't about a literal king. It was about the homeless man they shared their bread with on a cold winter's day. It was about the exhausted traveler they offered a cup of water to under the scorching sun. It was the lonely neighbor they welcomed into their home, the poor child they gave a spare cloak to, the sick friend they sat with through the night, the forgotten prisoner they visited with a word of hope. Every small, seemingly insignificant act of kindness, every moment of compassion shown to the forgotten and the suffering, was an act of service to the king himself. He was hidden in plain sight, in the faces of the hungry, the thirsty, the lonely, and the weak. Their faith wasn't just a set of beliefs they spoke. It was a love they lived, a compassion they practiced without seeking reward or recognition. Their kindness was their faith in action. The people on the right finally understand. Tears of joy and gratitude streamed down their faces. They hadn't been accumulating points for heaven. They had simply been loving their neighbors. Their reward wasn't for a grand performance, but for a lifetime of quiet, heartfelt compassion. They are welcomed into a kingdom of eternal joy, a place where love reigns supreme. But the story doesn't end there. The atmosphere shifts dramatically. The warm light fades, replaced by a somber, heavy shadow as the king turns his attention to the group on his left. His expression is no longer one of warmth, but of profound sadness and disappointment. He speaks to them, and his voice, once so full of love, now carries the weight of judgment. "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels." The words hang in the air, cold and final. The people on the left are shocked, their faces turning pale with disbelief and fear. The king explains his verdict, "For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me." Just like the first group, they are utterly confused. They protest, their voices filled with self-righteous indignation. Lord, when did we see you hungry, or thirsty, or a stranger, or needing clothes, or sick, or in prison, and did not help you? They were convinced of their innocence. After all, they had never encountered a king in such a desperate state. If they had, surely they would have helped. They had lived respectable lives, followed the rules, and stayed out of trouble. The king looks at them, and his response is the final, devastating revelation. Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. The truth hits them with the force of a physical blow. Their failure wasn't in some great, obvious sin, it was in their inaction. It was the beggar they walked past without a second glance. The thirsty child they ignored, the lonely newcomer they ostracized, the sick person whose cries for help they shut out, the prisoner whose existence they completely forgot. They had seen the suffering, but they had chosen to look away. They had opportunities to show mercy, but they chose comfort and convenience instead. They lived their lives for themselves, building walls around their hearts, blind to the needs of those right in front of them. In ignoring the least of these, they had unknowingly ignored their king. They had a faith of words, perhaps, but not of deeds. And in the final accounting, it was the deeds of compassion that mattered. This parable isn't just an ancient tale, it's a mirror held up to each of us, right here, right now. The king in this story represents the ultimate measure of our lives, and he is still present today, hidden in the faces of those who are struggling around us. Every day, we encounter the hungry, the thirsty, the lonely, the needy. They are not interruptions to our busy lives, they are opportunities. They are divine appointments, chances to show that our faith is real, that our love is more than just a word. This story challenges us to ask ourselves, who are the least of these in my world? Is it the elderly neighbor who lives alone? The single parent struggling to make ends meet? The new colleague who feels isolated? The homeless person on the street corner we pass every day? Compassion is not a feeling. It is a choice, it's an action, it's sharing your lunch. It's offering a listening ear. It's donating those extra clothes. It's visiting someone who is sick or lonely. These small acts, done with a loving heart, are what weave the fabric of a truly meaningful life. They are the evidence of a living faith. In the end, we will all stand before that final judgment. The great question will not be, how much did you believe, but how much did you love? And the proof of our love will be found in how we treated the most vulnerable among us. Let this story inspire you to open your eyes and your heart, to see the King in the face of the forgotten, and to act with the kind of compassion that echoes into eternity. Thank you for watching. If this story touched you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores the deeper questions of life.